Earlier, I spoke with Indonesia's Minister for Tourism and Creative Economy, Pak Sandi, and we touched on a range of issues, including over-tourism, sustainability, and digitization. First, he shared with us his thoughts on Indonesia's future economic prospects. Here's our full interview.
It is a bright spot, and World Bank has upgraded to about 5.1 plus for the next 2 to 3 years, but we need to grow much higher than that. The new government basically Pak Prabowo will take on the theme of continuity, has announced that their aim is 8% in 2027 and beyond. This is something that we need to make sure that our journey into developed economy by 2045 would be able to be achieved. You cannot just grow by 5.5% in order to reach to that developed economy status by 2045. So what we should be focusing about is the green transformations, creating good quality green jobs in order for us to sustain the domestic consumptions, the household consumptions. Secondly is the digital transformations. We need to continue to invest in our infrastructures, strengthening the institutions, and finally, as we move into this green sort of like ecosystem of not only electric vehicle but new and renewable energies, we need to make sure that this will bodes well with our drive towards downstreaming some of the manufacturing capabilities, so that our raw materials will be able to be processed domestically and be offered to our trading partners.
Now, part of the economy is also about attracting tourists to Indonesia. We move on to tourism. Indonesian President Joko Widodo, he recently made some remarks about losing to Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam when it comes to tourism, saying more needs to be done to bring in large numbers of foreign tourists. Do you agree with that, and what are your thoughts?
Well, we're in World Economic Forum, and World Economic Forum just released the Travel and Tourism Development Index, whereby we jumped 10 points, nearing the top 20, sort of like top tier of the tourism development index of the world. But the president has highlighted that we are attracting less tourists compared to our neighbors, and one of the areas that we need to work is digitalizing the permits and licenses in terms of creating good quality international events. Some of the musical events, sports events, including MotoGP, including the Taylor Swift, have seen Indonesia as a good market, but sort of like back away when it has to deal with the bureaucracy, the red tapes, and the steps it needs to fulfill before the events could be a successful event. We have now gotten a mandate from Bapak President, and also the tourism fund that we are creating in order for the industry to have flexibility to attract this type of great events into Indonesia. Our aim is not just the numbers, because we are focusing on quality and sustainability. So our 11.7 million last year of international tourist arrivals have actually delivered a 40 to 50% increase in spending per pax. Pre-COVID it was under $1,000, and now it's $1,500 per pax. So people who stay longer in Indonesia, tourists that spend higher into the local economies, and with these events, this is what the president is trying to achieve.
I mean, you talked about over-tourism and possibly having to balance it out with sustainability. We move on to Bali, the fact that there are a lot of tourists going to Bali, especially post-COVID-19. And then we've seen a number of tourists behaving badly as well at Bali, and some of the locals are unhappy about that. How do you see that? How are you going to mitigate those effects of over-tourism and having to balance it out?
Bali is quite a big island, and what we see, the congestion is more in the southern part of Bali. That's a favorite place for most of the tourists. So we are introducing destinations in west part, north part, and eastern part of Bali to distribute the tourist movement. And we're building infrastructures in different areas of Bali in order to improve the interconnectivity. Tourists behaving badly, it's not just the monopoly of certain countries or certain destinations, but it is basically what we need to actively socialize and promote and educate tourists that this is the type of behavior that is welcome. When you come to Indonesia, you respect the culture. Once we spot this tourist behavior that is outside the boundaries of the law or the customs or the traditions and the local wisdom and culture, we would basically first identify and educate them, but if it continues to be a repeat situations, we are going to be very, very firm, including deporting those perpetrators to send a signal and narratives that we are very serious in making sure that our tourism destinations would be quality destinations that promotes nature, culture, and also adventure.
Let's talk about another kind of interconnectivity. We talk about digitalization. How important is digitization and connectivity, especially since Indonesia has thousands of islands?
It's absolutely critical. Most of the tourists are now Gen Z and the millennials, and they're digital savvy generations. They would like to have all these tourism destinations well covered by and thanks to technological advancement, we've been able to build a very wide network of internet connections across these tourism destinations, but we need to do more. And as the biggest and largest archipelago in the world, we need to embrace more investment into this technology interconnectivity. And people are now using apps to actually begin their experience finding the spots, booking, traveling, and they're within this digital ecosystem.
In your role, how have you been changing Indonesia's creative economy? Any concrete examples?
The creative economy plays an important contributor to our GDP, and we're aiming 80-85% of this creative economy will be digitalized by the end of 2030. We are only number 3 in the world after the US and South Korea in terms of creative economy output to the economy. So what we need to do is to create better upskilling, reskilling and new skilling to have these digital talents so that they contribute to the creative economy. And the creative economy based on innovations. Third, we need to make sure that Indonesia creative economy products such as fashion, culinary have all been optimally presented to the world. So this is going to be our focus going forward, to make sure that not only people know about our creative economy, but also the exports of our creative economy that last year registered about $25 billion continue to increase by 10 to 15% in the years to come.